So the next part of heian Nidan, after we change the angle, we threw the side kick and we land and get prepared for the other attacker, right? We're in our back stance and now we're going to move forward into our back stance. Again, always controlling the gap that is between us and the opponent. And we're going to do shuto blocks. And again, shutos can be blocks or strikes, but at this instant, we're using them as a block. Now, what we do on one side, of course, we equal balance, like I've been saying, on the other side. And then the neat thing about it is in this kata, we're going to learn a new technique called a parry, or a deflection, and a new strike, which is called a nikate, or a spear. Here we go. We'll start from the back stance position. We want to move that foot over, change the angle, push through, extend the hand out, block. Same idea. Turn the foot, push through with the back leg as I'm moving forward, shoot the hand out, and then block. Now, this is the neat part. This is where we're going to change stances. We're going to go from a back stance to a front stance. So we're changing out the distance. So again, like a self-defense situation or a sparring match, you never want to stay consistent to doing always the same thing. So now we're going to change the gap on them. So from here, this is when I step up, I'm going to pull my hand back to my belt, and I'm going to parry the block or the strike that's coming at me downwards, and then I'm going to step back. And this is my nikate. My hand goes straight out, and that is being thrown right into the throat. Whack. Nice and solid, thrusting through, using the power of your legs, through the hip, right through the body. Work on that part. So, in kata, when you're practicing kata, you'll notice that katas that you've done before, some of the movements will duplicate themselves in higher belt katas. Just because you've learned something once doesn't mean we forget about it. We keep practicing it, we keep adding it into our repertoire, right? Higher belt katas, right, doesn't mean that they're really harder moves. Sometimes there's just a lot of different combinations put together. So like we did at the end of heian shodan, when we use the shutos as a block then a strike, and then what we did on one side, I always mention we have to balance ourselves and learn to do it on the other side. Well, this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to take the ending of heian shodan and we're going to put it right here in the middle of heian Nidan. All right, so let's try that. So I take a quick look over to the side here. After my nikate, after my spear, I'm going to bring the hand back as I slide up. As I slide up, I keep turning, I'm looking, I shoot the hand out. Again, create that distance and space. If I shove that out, that person moves back, and they're punching, it gives me the time that I can block. Now, once I block here, again, there's his neck. It's right here. So I'm going to push it into his throat, and then I'm going to step up and strike the side of his neck, which is going to make him collapse. Again, we're going to practice on this side. So I bring it back in, I shoot it out, I block. There's the throat and there's the neck. So I push it up and then I strike. Now, just because you've done it before doesn't mean that you don't need to practice it. So really practice breaking it down and work on that movement. Excellent. Now, you've practiced that a bunch of times. Now, we're going to learn something new, which is actually pretty cool, and it's fun. Because again, we're going to learn to get off the center line. Again, martial arts is up with changing angles and re-attacking, blocking, whole bunch of fun stuff. So, when I'm in my back stance position here, I notice that the person is coming at me here. Again, multiple attackers, right? Person's coming at me, throwing a punch, throwing me here, because I'm standing here. So I'm going to bring my leg in, and then from here, I'm going to step out, I'm going to turn my shoulder. So that way there, I get off the line, and then I move it over like that. So I'm using the hips and the power of my legs to deflect the technique away from me. Now I'm going to follow up with a kick, then a quick punch. Now the kick has to be a snap kick because I'm following up with a punch. If I use a thrust kick, then there'll be no one to punch. Makes sense, right? So I'm here like this, I drive my knee up, snap, and punch. Now what we do on one side, we gotta practice on the other. So I'm gonna use my left hand, I'm gonna punch out and block. And look at, boom, slam the hip into it, turn the shoulder, follow up with the quick snap kick, then punch, whack. Excellent. Take your time with this. Make sure you realize that you're using your hips, right? And the momentum of your body, using the power of your legs to get that block off, and then a quick snap kick and a punch. Make sure you land after you kick, land into a good front stance. How I do that is I like to recoil my leg. I got good balance. I place my foot and I punch at the same time. You can do this. Have fun. Now we're moving on to our next move. Now the next move is again something new. It's called a double arm block. And we're going to do it like an inside chest block. So we've done a single inside chest block, single inside chest block. Now we're going to use a double inside chest block. Now the reason why it's a double is to reinforce it. Now it's either something really strong coming at you that you need to really block and move, or you could actually be moving the person. Hence we're going into a front stance. So I'm going to actually use sort of my arm with my shoulder to maneuver that person after I've kicked and punched them to clear distance, right? So when I get into my last position that I was into, I kicked and then I punched. So now that I'm here, I am going to step up with my back foot and I'm going to bring my hand over here like this. Now you see my hips are going this way, but I'm looking this way. My hand is all the way over here, the hand is turned. Now remember, all blocks, all punches have a twist and a snap at the end. Whether you're doing a closed fist or an open hand, it doesn't make a difference. Same idea here. So from here, I'm going to step into my front stance and look, I'm still, hips are this way. And then at the last second, I'm going to drive it over. And I'm going to be pushing with my hand on my forearm and snapping the technique. So visualize if the person is throwing something hard and I got to come up, I push, or I maneuver that person away from me, which allows me to have the distance and space that I need maybe to get away. Practice that, take your time. Now that you practice that a bunch of times, that double arm block, and maybe we move that individual over to there, and then they're gonna continue the attack, right? So in this kata, it's either they're kicking or they're punching low. So I'm gonna block whatever's coming at me low with a low block in a front stance. And then from there, the guy's not done. So maybe he kicks or she kicks and then all of a sudden punches. So I'm gonna be prepared to throw a face block and then I'm gonna counter with a reverse punch strong into the body. And then what we do on one side, we'll repeat the same thing on the opposite side, equal body, equal balance. All right, so we're gonna practice that in 2 seconds. So I take a quick look over, because I moved them, boom, take a quick look over. The hand that's on my forearm is going to come up on the shoulder. I'm going to do a quick turn like I do in Teikushidan here. I punch out here, boom, I give that low block, whack. Now that I block here, and the guy's here. There's his other hand. So I am going to actually defend against that hand that's coming to my face, but I'm going to step into him. I'm going to break his balance. I'm going to push him back a little bit. As I do that, from here, the block is there right away. I throw that punch. Good hard strike here. Now what we practice on one side, we'll practice on this side. I take a quick look, my hand comes back in, I shoot my hand back, in, there's my block. There's the punch that's coming at me. I'm going to drive into him, pushing him back, and striking. Again, when I strike, I want to hit the midsection of the body. We want to aim for that solar plex area. You hit there, boom. They lose their breath, they collapse, boom. It allows me the chance and time to create distance so I can get away and get to safety. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed working on the breakdowns and the movements of heian Nidan. Practice it like it's the first time you've ever done it, even if you're a 10th degree black belt. Keep working, everyone.